November 8th is going to be a critical date for DraftKings investors to circle because the California legislature has a ballot initiative that Californians are going to vote on that date, which can determine if sports betting gets legalized in the state. California is a massive market with over 35 million people, and if you want to put that into context, the state of New York earlier in 2021, no, in I would say legalized it in late 2021, and then it launched in early 2022, legalized sports betting in that state, and the projections were that there would be $1 billion in gross gaming revenue in the industry overall in New York State, and DraftKings was one of the online sports books to gain approval to operate in that state. So of course, some of that money will go to taxes and some of it will be split between competitors, but still a massive overall market compared to, DraftKings in 2021 overall revenue was just over $1 billion. So gaining access to markets of this size is a huge contribution to DraftKings revenue and potential profitability. And here they noted in their most recent quarter, I have pulled up DraftKings second quarter earnings statement, and they note here, they talk about the California Secretary of State confirming online sports betting initiative, and they said that they took steps meeting the threshold to qualify for the ballot, which they have, so it's on the ballot right now. And at this point, which was a few months ago, DraftKings was cautiously optimistic about the ultimate outcome in November. So they were optimistic that it was going to gain approval, and the potential to generate hundreds of millions of dollars to address homelessness, mental health, and addiction in partnership with the state's tribe. So the way DraftKings and FanDuel and the other supporters were framing this, the way they proposed this on the ballot was they said, hey, Californians, legalize online sports betting, and it's going to generate all of this tax revenue, and some of that money will go to address the homelessness problem, which is a big problem here in California, especially in Los Angeles. You don't have to drive very far to notice homeless encampments all over the side of the streets. It's an ongoing problem and a problem that California has had a difficulty addressing. But the issue here is that citizens have, this isn't the first time that money has been raised for homelessness, and citizens are losing confidence in the ability for the government to address the issue with more dollars, right? You just add more dollars and think that just spending more money is going to solve the issue, which hasn't been the case in recent years. We've been throwing more money at the problem, and uh, as a Los Angeles citizen, I haven't seen much improvement in the homelessness problem over the last couple of years, even though so much more money has been allocated. Keep that in mind, which could be one of the reasons why the majority of Californians so far oppose online sports betting Prop 27. So far surveys indicate that Prop 27 is the prop that's going to legalize online sports betting. So far, 54% of residents said that they were going to vote against, they were going to vote no on Prop 27, with only 34% saying they would vote yes. So even though DraftKings was optimistic just a few months earlier, this latest survey on September 15 shows that the likelihood of this proposition passing is not very good. Not very good at all, with only 34% saying they would vote yes. And I would suggest part of the reason is that what I mentioned earlier about California's not feeling confident that the increase in tax revenue will solve the homelessness problems, and so that method of sale is not as effective as they desired. And the other side of it is the fact that California has a strong gambling presence already in the state. We have multiple Indian tribes in the region, and they all many of them have casinos. So we have just, I mentioned earlier I'm in Los Angeles. Just within a 2-hour distance, there are several Indian casinos where you can wager, where you could play blackjack, slot machines, all sorts of gamings you can engage in, and as well as within a 30-minute drive, there are several card rooms where you can play card games like Texas Hold'em, blackjack, Pai Gow poker, and other kinds of card games, not slot machines. So the casinos with slot machines are rarer here in California, but card rooms are more widespread. And then on top of that, we have horse racing tracks, several of those within, a 30-minute distance. So, and of course, these establishments are not in favor of expanding online gaming because the beneficiaries would be companies like DraftKings and FanDuel, and not necessarily those brick and mortar establishments that already have a strong presence in the region. So they're funding against this initiative. So trying to convince Californians not to vote against this expansion in online gaming because it would hurt their gaming revenue, right? So a strong opposition has been led by those establishments, and which could be causing this lowered popularity so far among citizens here in California. So nevertheless, November 8th is a date for DraftKings investors to circle. It could make a big difference on the business's overall projections for 2023 if this passes, right? If it somehow passes, if this trend reverses and they gain popularity and it passes, it could be a huge, huge deal. And I wouldn't be surprised if it passes to see DraftKings stock price shoot higher in the days following the announcement, whether it passed or not. If it does pass, you can expect DraftKings stock to shoot higher on the days following. So circle that date in November 8th. That's all I've got for the stock right now, and I will see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for all investors of all skill sets and risk levels. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by more than 3 times. Go to fool.com/Parkev to get your 10 stock picks now.